Now you've covered the social part of your pitch. You'll need to cover the enterprise part of your pitch next, and the financials. For people in the early stage, financials can be tricky. It's always projections and guesswork. Right now, you'll tend to focus on the problem and solution part of your pitch, but it's still vital to know how your business is going to operate. I keep this part of the pitch separate to the rest because it's almost as important as the rest combined. In order to express the financials simply, we'll be clear about what we do know and what we're just guessing at. There's three main buckets. You need to be able to answer your top line. So where does the revenue, what does the revenue look like? What is the actual incoming dollars for whatever service or product or whatever trading activity that you have, okay? Top line revenue, right? Must know that. Secondly, you need to have a really clear picture of what you think producing that revenue is going to cost you, okay? So what are all the expense items that are going to sit there, and what does this business cost to run, given the amount of revenue that you think you're going to bring in? Those two components will then produce a profit figure, okay, or your projected profit figure. So that's kind of your financial picture. But actually the most important thing, the thing that people will be much more interested than the actual numbers, because the secret is that your numbers will actually never look like what you put them on the page to be. They will always be different, and anyone who's looking at a startup will know your projections are going to be way off, either way too low or way too high, but they will be way off. What people are most interested in is the assumptions that underpin those projections. Okay, so you're going to be talking with people that have had hundreds of people like you sit in front of them, and they have looked at hundreds of financials that all look exactly the same. I can tell you what yours is going to look like. It's called the hockey stick, right? You're going to spend some money at the start, you won't be making any money, then all of a sudden magically you're going to make all this money and the profit figure is going to go through the roof, okay? That's the classic hockey stick graph of how profits go for every startup that ever sits in front of any investor, right? So people will just kind of discount that immediately and want to talk about what assumptions you have made that are inputs in that, because that's where they're going to have a sniff test, okay? If you're assuming you're going to capture 100% market share of the mobile phone market in Australia, you're lying. Right? Nobody's going to believe that, okay? If you say, hey, we've got this values-based telephone company that we want to start and we think we could capture 0.5% just based on being, environmentally friendly and donating a percentage of our profits back to a particular cause, and we've assumed 0.5% because we can point to 3 other companies that have done it in different markets and they all got 0.5%. Okay, maybe 0.5% sounds reasonable. Maybe that passes the sniff test. So, understanding, but there's going to be a huge focus on what assumptions you've made underpinning those numbers. People will ask you the same questions over and over and over again. And depending, you'll meet certain types of people, and before they open their mouth, you'll know, okay, this type of person always asks this question. Okay, so what you should always aim to get better at doing is to try and front run those questions. Not only does that make you appear very intelligent, that you have kind of thought of this issue already and have considered it, and it's all factored into your financial modeling or your business case or whatever, but also it's going to demonstrate to them that you have an answer to this. This is not a gotcha moment where they're going to ask you some tricky thing that you don't have an answer to.
The big thing about money is that knowing and guessing is different, and an investor is going to know the money stuff better than you ever will. So if they see a line that goes up and to the right that's guesswork, they're going to know it's guesswork because they've seen 400 or 500 lines that go up and to the right. The biggest question that constantly gets asked at pitch events is, how do you make money? And if you can look them in the eye and say, like this, and maybe in a year like this, but we're not sure, they're going to know that you've actually thought through the problem. So be honest.
People always ask me about the financials and how to approach the financials. The 2 strongest pieces of advice I could ever give somebody is, number 1, know them inside out, okay? And number 2, don't put all of that on the page. The people you're pitching to are almost always going to know more about the financials than you. Here is your opportunity to bring something interesting to them, new information that they might not know about, maybe a market they didn't know existed, or a revenue model that works in a particular way. This way, you're not wasting time trying to convince them on your wild guesses, and instead focusing on really interesting opportunity that they may not have known about.